Special guest in conversation. You'd have to be living on another planet if you weren't aware that this man has a new film out. I sat there in a preview cinema the other day all by myself. I was a bit privileged, actually. They actually showed me the film just privately for me, which means you can absolutely absorb it. And I loved every minute of it.
Thank you.
They're working him really hard, as indeed they should. Yes, David Brent is on the road. Ricky Gervais, it's lovely to see you.
Lovely to be here.
I was fascinated by this film because, A, I'd forgotten just what a fantastic voice you've got. And I don't say that because you're sitting there. I was amazed at your pitch. Your pitching and your holding of notes is incredible.
Well, I'm a failed rock star, I'll have you know.
You are absolutely
30 years ago, I could hold a tune. Yeah, well, the joke was never that they were awful or terribly performed, or even there were comedy songs like Monty Python or something. The joke was always that it was inappropriate for a boss in a paper merchants to get his guitar out and start, hijacking his own training session, And now it's even sadder, I suppose, that he's a 55-year-old sales rep who is paying to try and be a rock star. It's like some sort of fantasy that he's bought himself, like one of those luxury gift packages where be a rock star for 3 weeks. So he's cashed in pensions, he's taken holiday, he's paying for mercenary session musicians, and it's just not going to work because he gets it all wrong. He's not even entering a talent show. He's trying to do it the credible route. He thinks he's Bruce Springsteen.
Yes, he does.
And it's cringy and funny, but a little bit sad as well.
I thought there was an awful lot of pathos in this film. There were bits of it where I thought, I know what he's trying to achieve, I understand where he's going, but other people just don't see it.
I think he's been sold a lie. I think we've had a generation of people thinking they can be famous for nothing. For doing nothing or for doing bad things.
Yeah.
People are rewarded for their bad behaviour.
Yes.
There's like an unwritten contract. They say, let me in Big Brother and I'll be awful.
Please don't start me on Big Brother.
Well, do you know what I mean? And that's the difference that, 12 years, 13 years on, Brent hasn't changed that much. He's changed a bit, but the world has changed. People are insane. That people do anything to be famous now. I mean, talking about Big Brother, it is like a zoo, isn't it?
Oh, it's even worse this time around.
Yeah.
Because people, all they do is they shout at each other. And if shouting doesn't work, then they become abusive. Or we have nudity. Or we have, at the moment, it's a beauty queen who was Miss GB, who made love on a television programme. I say made love. It was a one-night stand, and she was just taken, the title was taken away. And now she's a celebrity.
I know. I don't know what that means anymore now. But it is because anyone can sort of get on telly if they're willing to do anything. It's sort of car crash TV, and Brent sort of can't compete with that, because since The Office as well, we've had The Apprentice where people get on there by saying, I would destroy anyone who stands in my way. Yeah. It's like a little wink to the programme makers. I'm going to be good to watch. Because there's real people on the Apprentice that are more Brent than David Brent.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They go, no, it's not an option. And you go, where do you get this from?
It's all these daft cliches and the things that mean nothing that they're trying to... But then again, their role models behave badly. We've got potentially a future president who says things like, I'd like to punch him in the face.
Yes.
And Trump's more like Brent than he is JFK. He's an entertainer.
But I feel sorry for David because I appreciated everything. I thought the songs were great. I really thought the songs were great. I didn't understand anybody who said these were not great songs. I thought they were great. There's also, by the way, the songbook is out as well. It's such clever...
Brent believes it 100%. He thinks he's Bob Dylan or Neil Young, and he pontificates, because it's obviously it is a real songbook, but it's also a comedy book. The intros are funny and him talking about them, and the lyrics are. But as I say, it's not that they're terrible songs. Like Free Love Freeway is a cracking tune, but it's singing about crossing America, picking up chicks, and when you realise it's being sung by a 55-year-old tampon rep who's never been to America, it's the backstory that's funny. Slough's a beautiful tune, but he gets bogged down in the admin of like the station's just got a new floor and the motorway runs, but and he's accidentally offensive, close to Windsor, but the property's less. It's sort of like, if Brent's on your side, he's gonna make things worse for you. Yes. Native American, he thinks he's helping the plight of the Native American, like he's the first person ever to do it, and he accidentally brings up scalping because he's seen that in a Western or something. So it's the fact that he's trying to be something he's not. And that's the whole theme of it, I think. You
Yeah.
know, he's trying to be something he's not. And there's a line in the film where the character Dom says, I just think people would accept him if he was just himself. And again, we've had 15 years of people just, you know, trying to get something. They're thinking that fame will sort everything out for them.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't, you know.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
You have to. I think that there was that line in that programme, Fame, where they said fame costs, and right here is where you start paying for it.
Yeah.
You have to do your dues. You have to, you know, to work up to it. You flogged yourself to death, both here and in America, and America is the worst market to crack for the Brits. It's
Yeah.
really tough, but you've sort of done it. The Golden Globes.
I think I've got to say I've had a bit of luck as well. I don't think that you know, the Office broke, and that was the first sort of sitcom remake in America to break. I mean, the original went down well; it won a couple of Golden Globes, and then the remake was the first to make it for about 30 years. And I don't know why that is. I mean, there's great things that are remade, and they make great remakes, and they fail. I just think that the stats are so high. I don't know why, you know, I broke and some people don't, who are just as good, if not
people
better.
like you, and that's a difficult thing to say to somebody. You've got to have likability factor.
Well, I think you've got to have some people like you, but I think it's probably better to polarise, because I think if you try and just be anodyne and safe, a lot of people might like you a bit, but I think if you're saying something bold and you're getting final edit, you've got to assume that as many people will like you as dislike you, but the people who dislike you, they don't affect you.
No.
The people who like you are the ones who buy the tickets and come out and stay loyal. So, and the bigger you get, the more people like you, and the more people hate you.
Yes.
And I just think, you know, if you just do your own thing, and it's even slightly different, the world's a big place. There's 7 billion people on this planet. You don't have to just sell out and beg in one country to try and get big. You just do your thing. A world cult is bigger than the biggest thing in any country. Because the world's so big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think you should stay true to yourself, do your own thing, and you still have to work it. I mean, it's still 95% really, really hard work and never giving up.
Yeah.
But I just think you've got to do your own thing.
With sort of David going out on the road, he assembles these musicians who are excellent. I mean, there's no denying it.
They're amazing.
They're really amazing.
Yeah.
But they don't like him.
No. Well,
he finds it very difficult to sort of mix with them because he's doing his own thing and they're just musicians.
Yeah, I mean they're sort of like cool 20-something rock guys, and he just wants them to like him.
Yeah.
He's paying for their services. There's a really sad bit where he even pays for them to have a drink with him.
Yes.
You know, it's
they don't want to go out with him.
It's tragic, you know, and then he tries to ingratiate himself. Again, he's trying to be something he's not, so he's looking at them and guessing bands they might like and saying things like Foo Fighters, yeah, or Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
You know, it's so desperate. It's like a really
desperately
embarrassing.
sad. I seriously sat there feeling so sorry for him, thinking he needs some friends.
He's out of place. He's out of time. He's out of place. He's not comfortable with himself, and he just should be. And I think that's the sort of lesson. You know, there is someone out there that's like you and will like you.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be liked by everyone, and you don't have to beg for it. That's the.
But they don't even like him back in the office selling the tampons. I mean, I know they're taking the Mickey out.
The office is split again. It's these young alpha types who nearly bully him because he's an old relic and a wreck, and his sense of humour is a little bit out of place and time. And it is.
It's such a clever. This is going to sound really trite, but it's such a clever act. It's such a clever thing to convince people that this person is really there. You know, we almost talk about him in sort of third party. Do you see him like that?
Yeah, I do think of him as a real person because it's a fake documentary, so it's got to be steeped in reality. You know, and I try and make him as three-dimensional as possible. And I like the ambiguity of. You know, am I meant to laugh at him or with him? Do I like him? Do I feel sorry for him? Why do I feel sorry for him? He's a prat. Well, because prats aren't that bad. They're not.
He's harmless.
He's harmless, and I think that why we like him is not only because we know a lot of people like him, but we're a bit like him. We're all a bit David Brent. We all want to be loved. We all say daft things sometimes. It's just that we haven't invited the cameras into our souls 24/7.
Yeah.
And he has, and that's the big mistake he's made. He thinks that the relationship with the camera will sort everything out for him, and it won't. It just won't. How many times have you seen someone who has a fall from grace and they go into Celebrity Big Brother and they say something like, I want to show the public a different side of me?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you care what the public... That you don't know them? They don't. They want you to fail again. Because that's entertainment these days.
Yes.
It's terrible.
If you're a nice person, well, a friend of mine did go into I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and he's a very nice guy. He's well known, he's in radio, but he was too nice. There was no edge to him. And so consequently, he was voted out by week 2, I think.
Yeah, exactly. We want blood. We don't want 12
people on the
intelligent
television.
people chatting to each other for half an hour a night.
But where is it going? Where does television
go
after this?
I don't know what's next. I mean, we've had Celebrity Enema. You know, I don't know if there's... I'd like to think this is the lowest. I don't think it is, though.
Why do we watch it, though? Why? Because neither of us like it. We don't like the concept of these people who are nobodies, but all of a sudden they're being given columns in newspapers.
Because I still want to know where humanity is willing to go to be a bit famous. I'm fascinated. I don't know if there is I think the pit might be bottomless with what people might do, because people are rewarded for terrible behaviour. We've got trolls who now get a newspaper column.
Yes.
It's clickbait.
Yes.
We can't look away. It's really weird. It's really strange.
Why are people so stupid as to troll somebody, knowing that now you can go to the police and go, that person has made this threat against my person?
Because they don't care, because they hate themselves already. They're living in a dark place already. They hate themselves. They just want to make someone as unhappy as them, as opposed to try and make their own life a little bit better. So, but they're virtual, just ignore them.
Whatever. Listen, we'll take a very quick break. More from Ricky Gervais. David Brent's songbook, the piano, vocal and guitar, and he does play good guitar. He's very clever, and we'll tell you more about the film and some of his other passions after this. Special guest in conversation. I so look forward to meeting Ricky Gervais, because having sort of not grown up with you, obviously, because I'm a lot older than you.
Are you?
I am, yes.
I bet you'll be surprised.
No, I'm 10 years older than you now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, you look good on it.
Well, I'm sitting in the dark. I'll tell you what I love.
And my eyesight's going.
Your eyesight's going. That's why I wear glasses. I've got to that age where things start dropping off now.
Oh, drooping, dropping.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it. And you go out running.
Yeah,
there was a
I know.
picture of you in the paper the other day with these...
That was an hour after I'd been for a jog. I don't know where they were hiding, and the close-up on my knee strap.
On your knee strap.
And
they went, because obviously this sort of helps his knees, and you think, this is ridiculous.
I know. They're right. It does help my knees.
It does help your knees.
I know. That's the worst thing at the moment.
You're a healthy person now,
I'm
aren't
healthy
you?
and I work out, but the knees can't take it. Yeah.
My brother's had his replaced.
Oh, I'm not going to do that. I've never had
Well, you might.
No. I'm going to put wheels on. Just, no.
Push you around. Not surrounded by a nice bit of chrome. Let me just go back to the film, because there are some really heartbreaking bits in it. The bit you mentioned about, would you like to come out for a drink, and they don't. And you can see the look on his face, but then he cheers himself up a little bit.
I like him. I like David Brent because he does that.
I like that. He can self-happy.
Exactly. It's almost childlike. Where,
Yes.
There's something sad about it. It's almost like a kid standing alone in a playground, but he's happy because he's got some. You know what I mean?
Yes,
He doesn't know where to go, and I'd like people who fall over but they get back up again. I really love that about David Brent, and again, who are we to laugh at his dream or is wasting hard-earned cash on a fantasy? I sort of think good luck to him.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of an anaesthetic, him saying it's fine, it's going to go well.
Yeah, it's all right.
But I think hope is everything. I think hope is a lot to a lot of people, because life's tough. Life is tough, and I think without hope, well, you might as well just pack it in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you have to believe. I've always been taught that to sort of believe you have to like yourself, and if you like, and I think he does like himself. I love his laugh though.
Well, that's nerve. Yeah,
it's
sort
like
of
a
did
nervous
that.
laugh.
It's a nervous laugh because it's sort of like he's come back into the public eye with his tail between his legs. The other documentary sort of stitched him up a bit, and we see what he went through, and without giving too much away, it affected him. The office and all the nasty things, and he had a bit of a breakdown, and he's coming out of that, and he talks about that, and that's also a reflection of today's documentaries are different than they were when the office was out. They're more intrusive.
Yes.
They demand you tell us everything. You know, it's
Yeah.
like they start with a breakdown. They're much.
Well, you see people on television now, celebrities have had breakdowns. All of a sudden, they're now talking about it in front of somebody, and then you sort of realise that these people don't even like themselves.
No, I know. And, you know, it is good to talk about things like that, but I don't think reality shows are good therapy. I don't think people who have got problems think that Big Brother sorting it out. I think that's a mistake. Do you know what I mean?
But they just go to earn money. I mean, if I take, say, Kerry Katona, she'll do a reality show, she gets some money, that keeps her going for another few months. Then she'll break up with a boyfriend, that's selling another story, and it just perpetuates. So in the end, you know everything about these people that you don't really want to know about. I don't really care. She doesn't enter into my life. I couldn't care less about Peter Andre, and there's a good gag about Peter Andre in the film. I don't want to sort of, you know, I couldn't care less.
I've got nothing against those people. I think they've probably been badly advised, or you know they're sort of made that way, or they've been sold a lie, or you know they have problems that they can't help. But but it's sort of shame on us and shame on the programme makers, to be honest. You know,
they put them on.
They put them on, and you know, I don't know. I don't agree with being a nanny state by any means, and it is they're adults and they're allowed to do what they want. But there's something slightly undignified about a society that watches gladiatorial games. I just, you know, coming out of Big Brother, it's like a public hanging. Oh. You know, they want those people, they want to cheer them to death because they don't like them. It's really odd. It's really odd behaviour.
You have to be fairly thick-skinned to go in for that. People said to me, you know, how much would it take? I said I wouldn't go in there. If you
well, I
paid me.
wouldn't go in. I wouldn't go in. But you know, someone like David Brent, he doesn't know where else to turn for affirmation, and you know he shouldn't do it, but he does, and that's the problem, really. He's looking in the wrong place for the wrong things.
Yeah.
He's okay.
I thought he might find God or something.
Well, you know, that's another thing. Whatever gets you through, and I think to a lot of people, fame is a new religion. I think it gives them that it promises them things that never arrive, but they keep thinking it will.
It's so fickle. It's so fickle, fame. Unless you actually have a particular talent, like you juggle or tell stories.
Well, that's it. It's the wrong sort of fame.
Yeah.
You know, being famous for doing terrible things, or you know, entering a popularity contest. The public don't respect you. They just think they own you. They think they put you there.
Yes.
You know, it's. I feared fame because I didn't want to be lumped in with those people that became famous, and I also didn't want. I never signed that contract. Make me famous, and you can go through my bins. And the people who make it that way, that they do make them famous, and then they go through their bins, and they say, "Why are you going through my bins?" You know, well, you said we could. And you know, it's sort of like you haven't got a leg to stand on if you invite it.
We own you.
I know. It's terrible. It's just, and they, you know, kids. There's a whole generation of people growing up of just seeing people doing nothing to be famous or bad things. Well, why when you see a reality star who just lets the cameras in their lives and they make 10 million, why would you ever train to be a doctor?
Yeah.
It's like, it's tough competition.
It has to stop at some point. We have to implode and say, no more of these reality shows. Let's have some nice documentaries. Let's have something nice. Let's have some decent drama. They won't do it. Well, it's cheaper to stick people on Dancing on Ice or something.
Well, like, there are still great documentaries. You can find them. I try and find one a week on Netflix, even if it's an old one, but proper documentaries that have been researched and they've found the truth, you know. Things like, you know, even if you want sensationalised but real documentaries, things like The Jinx and The Staircase and Making a Murderer, you know, there's some great documentaries about social injustice. There's some really great rock documentaries, and really sad ones like Anvil, which is a bit like watching the David Brent movie, but real, you know.
Yes.
So there is something better to watch. There really is.
No, I promise you just have to check the channels. There's hundreds of channels now.
I know, yeah.
So where does David Brent go from here? Because there were rumours that you were saying you were going to sort of, you know, he might be finishing. And I was thinking, where do you take him?
I say never all the time now. I'm not planning to do any other big outings, but I don't know. This would have to be a loud encore for me to do this again. You know, it's having said that, you know, with The Office and this film, we've only had 9 hours of David Brent. That's a third of a series of the American version of The Office, you know. But it might be too sad. You know, it's sad enough, David Brent at 55, he should know better. He's not going to learn. So is it too sad at 65 trying to be a rock star? Have we just lost the comedy? Is it just... Will it be too devastating to watch? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean,
I know.
I would like to see. I'd like to go on the journey to see where he goes. I don't think he's ever going to be a rock god.
No.
But I think he's going to find something, but I don't know what it is.
That's exactly it. You know, even in the movie, he's looking for lots of things, and he finds other things, and the other things he finds, whether he knows it or not, are better.
Yeah.
So.
It is actually. There is a really touching piece in the film. I'm not going to spoil it for you because you have to go see the film, which is out today. But there's a lovely bit where somebody proves to him how much they like him.
I know.
And I thought was really good.
It still makes me well up when I think about it, because it's those small things that keep us going. There's nothing huge or spectacular or amazing. But it's the tiny things every day that make us keep going. A little thank you note, you know?
Yeah.
That's huge to me.
I think they should put cameras in your house. I think a day in the life of Ricky Gervais would be fascinating.
It'd be mostly me on the couch with my cat. I'm afraid it wouldn't.
That would be it. Jay coming in and going, what are we watching now? Oh,
exactly.
It's Celebrity Big Brother.
Exactly.
Let's watch that.
Yeah.
Because I got really... Because I read the papers every day and I love watching all the sort of tacky stuff, strangely morbid though it might be.
Oh, no, so do I. I'm not saying I'm above it at all. I watch it, because it is addictive, but it almost like, I don't know, it is a guilty pleasure, and it almost shouldn't.
We shouldn't
be
watching
around.
It.
Yeah,
we shouldn't. It shouldn't
be
be put on the television for us.
I know.
But then I get annoyed about other things. There was some idiot man the other day in the papers who killed a bear with a spear.
With a spear.
And I went, because I'm not allowed to use really bad language on the radio, surprisingly. But you look at these people and you think, what pleasure did you... And he was like whooping and you think, why have you done this? What's the purpose?
Missing?
What's missing from your life?
Yeah, I know. I know
that you retweeted it and did all the...
I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, there is a big difference between, you know, living in the wild and providing for your family and killing endangered species for fun or for trinkets, or seeing, I know, what would a bow and arrow do to its head, as opposed to, you know, these people say, oh, it's a cull, but why do they like fox hunting? Why do they like seeing a fox terrified? If there needs to be a cull, let's, you know, a vet, I've had a cat put down, humanely, nicely. The vet didn't lay down next to it and take a selfie, you know? It's like, the vet didn't say, can I try this with a bow and arrow? No. Just because I think that'd be fun. It's rubbish. It's bloodlust. It's, you know, it's
wrong.
It's wrong.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I always think, give the foxes 12-bore shotguns. Let's see who moves quickest.
I know.
You know, once we've
Exactly.
trained them to use it. Yeah. Listen, I don't want to finish on a downer. This is a super film.
Thank you.
It is a super film. You've worked hard to promote it. I've seen you on so many programmes. You'll be quite glad when you can leave it to one side and you can move on.
Still better than real work, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you totally. David Brent,
You
Life
mustn't
on the
win.
Road. No. You can get the soundtrack. You can get the songbook. You can get everything, and very shortly it'll be on DVD as well.
Exactly. I start all over again. I'll
course
be
you
back.
do.
I'll be plugging the DVD.
I hope
I'll do
you
it now.
will.
Get the
No.
DVD out now. Save that. Put that out.
Pre-order. Much better. Ricky Gervais, a thrill. Thank you.
Cheers.
Do you remember, like, there was sort of a transitional period when DVDs first came out when people went, oh, do you remember videos? Do you remember those?
Do you remember
play and record
Laserdiscs?
at exactly the same time? Oh yeah, Laserdisc. The stuff that didn't quite make it's always interesting. These sort of, you know, pre-MP3s.
I've got laser.